Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 different fragrance houses that desperately need a new fragrance line. Most of these houses are just rocking with one fragrance line. So it's time that they bring something else out. And some of these they've actually just been milking since the beginning of time. So let's jump into it. Let's tackle these houses. I'm gonna kick things off with a house that I think is working on a new fragrance line. So sometime in the near future, I believe they're gonna do what I'm asking them to do right here. The house is Jean Paul Gaultier. It's me from the future. Because some of the houses that I said needed new fragrance lines in the time between when I filmed and now have come out with new fragrance lines. So thanks, Ralph Lauren. Thanks, Jean Paul Gaultier. You can see just a few seconds about what I said about those fragrance brands right here. Up until now, this house has been pretty much Le Male. And sometimes Le Male in a bottle that looks more modern. They did try some other fragrances like Cocorico and they didn't work, just kind of flopped. Next up, Ralph Lauren Polo. Yeah, see, I said Ralph Lauren Polo without even really thinking about it. That's the problem. Everything from Ralph Lauren is Polo. Everything. Now there's gonna be somebody out there that's like, wait, there's Purple Label. And yeah, there is. And Purple Label is really good, actually. It's got a similarity to Bleecker Street by Bond number 9. But that's pretty much it. Everything else at this point from Ralph Lauren is pretty much a Polo scent. But since I filmed that, now Ralph Lauren is coming out with Ralph's Club, which is not Polo, so I guess technically they're coming out with a new line. And then Gaultier is coming out with Scandal. So that's new. I mean, they've got Scandal for ladies, but now they're coming out with Scandal for dudes. So I had to quickly come up with a couple of new ones. So this is kind of like the minor league team, the B-roll team, the ones that didn't make the original cut. But you know, I think they could still come out with something new, and that would be cool. First up, Narciso Rodriguez. Now they have the For Him line. All of them come in a similar style bottle. Some of them have different gradients, different colors, whatever, but it's still basically the same line, just flankers off of it. Now most of the Narciso Rodriguez fragrances are very good. They do their own thing, they stand out from the crowd, and even the ones that are people pleasers like this one, Blue Noir Eau de Toilette Extreme, are still really solid. So with Narciso Rodriguez, I'd just like to see a new line, basically because I want to see what they can do. So Narciso Rodriguez, let's see something new. New bottle, new style, new direction, a whole new line. Because I think of most of the designer houses, Narciso Rodriguez might be one of them that tries to do something really different. Now, I could be wrong. Narciso Rodriguez could come out with a line, and it could end up being just the most boring sport fragrance line on earth, but I think chances are more likely than not that it would be something awesome. And another house that I'd like to see something new out of, another house, is D Squared. Yeah, wood. D Squared loves the wood, and there's nothing wrong with loving wood, but maybe something different, you know? Maybe something not based around wood. That would be cool. I've got a few of those bottles over here, actually. The reason they suck is because they don't feel good at all in your hand, because essentially you're holding just a block of wood and then you're trying to spray it, and it just doesn't feel very good in the hand. It's not a great bottle design outside of how it looks on a shelf. On a shelf, it looks cool. So D Squared, in their infinite wisdom, they said, you know, we've got this whole men's line of wood fragrances, and they just don't seem to be doing it for us anymore. So, you know what? Let's just kill all of them. And then after they did that, and they discontinued their entire line of wood fragrances and came out with their new line of fragrances for men, what were those fragrances? Of course, those were wood. Yeah, again, they made a whole bunch of wood fragrances that didn't work very well, discontinued all of them, made whole new fragrances, a whole new line, whole new bottle, packaging, everything. And those are also just wood, so the same friggin' thing they just did. So I guess the whole train of thought there was they looked at the bottles and said, yeah, these bottles just aren't doing it. You know, people don't like them, maybe it doesn't go with our aesthetic, so we're gonna come out with new bottles, but whole new fragrances also. And these fragrances also kind of underwhelming. Green wood is okay. I don't dislike this one. Easy to wear. It's a modern woodsy fragrance with the green tinge, which you would expect from the name and the bottle and everything. The original wood that came out before this, not really all that impressive. So what I'm trying to say here is D Squared maybe come up with something that's not based around wood, you know? Something different and something interesting, because obviously they've put a little bit into this. The bottles have really nice magnetic caps. They've got the little maple leaf on top of the cap ingrained into the wood. It looks good, it looks nice. It's simple, it's clean, it's modern, it feels good and heavy in the hand, feels high class. Even have a maple leaf on top of the atomizer. So they put some effort into this. It's not like they just kind of puked it out there and gave no thought to it whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it's the same stuff you've been rehashing for a long time that didn't work before, and it's not working now. So that's it for me in the future, back to me in the past. Next up, let's talk about this house right here, Valentino. Now, back in the day, Valentino had lots of V fragrances. Well, actually, they did. They had one named V, Valentino V. But they also had Valentino Vendetta, which is a pretty cool name, actually. But they had a lot of different fragrances, all with different V names, it seems like. And they all had their own separate bottles, so they were all doing their own thing, essentially. And then Valentino said, you know what, actually, forget all of that. Let's come out with Valentino Uomo and have it a little bit similar to the Dior Homme line. And that's what they did. For the most part, it was successful. People liked it, or at least people in the fragrance community liked it. Valentino Uomo Intense here being the most beloved of the bunch. And then they had Valentino Uomo Aqua, which was very nice, had a tomato leaf accord, which you don't see used very often. And then Valentino went back to the drawing board and they said, yeah, so we copied Dior Homme, but I don't really like how that's going. And then Valentino Uomo Born in Roma was born. And what did they do? They decided, instead of trying to be, you know, taking a page out of the Dior Homme playbook, let's go ahead and take a page out of that Invictus playbook. Yeah. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Valentino Uomo Born in Roma. Okay, I've said it. You guys know it. I'm not a huge fan of Invictus in general. Some are better than others, but it's just not my thing. At the same time, I fully realize that if you're a younger guy and you're looking for compliments, you're looking for a sweet fragrance that's got a fresh edge to it that you can wear to the club, or you can wear casually, or you can wear to class, or wherever, Invictus can do that for you. I get it. And I will never bag on Invictus for that, because it crushes, absolutely crushes in succeeding at doing that. The problem with it is that all the other fragrance houses have seen that it's successful and they've ripped it off, frankly. And that's what Valentino is doing here. So then they come out with the flanker, the horrifically named Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Yellow Dream. Now, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. The name Yellow Dream sounds like you pissed on yourself while you were asleep, okay? It's not the greatest name. It's actually horrible. It's terrible. Like, not one person in the marketing department was like, wait, guys, wait, Yellow Dream. Are you sure we want to go with this? I'm just saying, it's not that far out of the question that when you hear that, that's what you might think about. Anyway, they come out with that one, and they're knocking off Stronger With You. So at this point, Valentino has become a glorified, inspired by fragrance house, which is kind of sad in a way. So Valentino, get back to making fragrances that aren't just knocking off other fragrance houses. Make something of your own, come up with your own idea, and roll with that. And also the terrible names, cut it. Next up, Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb. Viktor & Rolf used to have a fragrance called Antidote, which a lot of people really enjoyed. It got discontinued, and now it's really hard to find and quite expensive. Nowadays, though, everything revolves around the bomb. What's ended up happening, though, is Viktor & Rolf has kind of shoehorned fragrances into the Spice Bomb line that maybe don't fit there so well. Spice Bomb Night Vision Eau de Toilette, for example. You know, where's the spice? Now you could say, oh yeah, there are spicy notes in there, right? Sure, I guess. Is it really a bomb of spice though? No, it sure isn't. In fact, it smells a little bit like Invictus. So I feel like Victor and Rolf needs to come out with a separate line of fragrances where they can experiment and do new things, and they can keep the Spice Bomb line for fragrances that focus on spice. I know that's a little bit crazy, but really, when you name your fragrance Spice Bomb, you've kind of roped yourself into a specific type of scent. And once you start going outside of that, it doesn't really make sense or fit in with this whole image that you've created. It would be like you make a fragrance named Intense Freshness, right? And then you come out with a few flankers which play off that idea of freshness with intensity. And then after a few releases, a few flankers, you go, yeah, this whole intense freshness thing, it's not doing it for me anymore. Nah, I think I want to do something different. And so what do you do in your infinite wisdom? You come out with a fecal oud fragrance, and you call it Intense Freshness Night Edition. So people are like, oh, I wonder how this is going to be intensely fresh for the evening. Let's vary it on. It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. So Spice Bomb, keep that spicy and with a bomb nuance, and then come out with a separate line for your other stuff. And last up, Vince Commuto. I've got Commuto Solaire here, and for me, I think the big problem that I have with the Commuto fragrances is, for the vast majority of them, when I see them, I just think that looks cheap. And maybe that's just me, but when I hold these in my hand and pop the cap off and give it a spray and look at it and everything, the whole package, the smell, everything comes across just like a kind of a throwaway designer scent a lot of times. Now, I don't say that meaning that all the fragrances are absolutely terrible from the house. They're just usually forgettable. They're the type of scents that you spray on and you're like, oh yeah, that's nice. I can wear that pretty easily. But you don't really have the fragrance stuck in your mind. It's not something where you go, oh yeah, that Commuto, I want to wear that one again and again and again. It doesn't really have that addictive nature to it a lot of times. Because fragrances that really resonate with you, you'll spray them on, you'll wear them, and you'll think, wow, that's good. And you'll come back the next day and want to wear it again and wear it again and wear it again. And I know that Vince Commuto has not really positioned themselves as a higher end designer fragrance house, right? They're generally viewed as entry level. And to me, that makes sense because, you take this bottle and you hold it up against any of these and it just looks like the most bland of the bunch, even with the really bright orange faux leather wrapping. Like, obviously, which one of these has more character, right? And even with this one, Born in Roma, this bottle stands out more than this one. Well, apart from the color. So I think if Commuto were to make another line and they were to maybe put a little more into it and really try to set it apart from the other stuff on the market, they could potentially be onto something at that point. Because believe it or not, Commuto fragrances sell decently well in retail stores, at least from everything I've ever heard. They just need something that's gonna set them apart instead of kind of blending in, which is what they do now. So Commuto, come out with a new fragrance line, get a nice looking bottle, put some thought, some energy into those fragrances, put them out there. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. 5 different fragrance houses that I think need a new fragrance line. And you guys, let me know in the comments below, what are some fragrance houses that you personally feel need a new fragrance line for whatever reason? It can be any house. It doesn't have to be a house that only has one line. It could be Dior, Chanel, whatever. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.